Cool. Hi everyone for this week's distribution team weekly demo. Uh, I thought I will give GitLab Orchestrator a go because honestly I don't remember ever deploying it completely from scratch. So this felt like a very good opportunity to do that. What what I hope to do or I plan to do is uh, get the cluster up, get the basic uh, Terraform configuration, provisioning of nodes and everything up, and then try the geo deployment demo that Robert has. In the orchestrator repo, it's the merge request ID 8. Let me share my screen quickly. Okay, I hope everyone can see that. So, giving this merge request a go, that's the plan. So, I'm pretty much starting from a very blank slate. I don't have anything else configured. So what I have done so far or what I have ready is I followed the quick start guide to build and run the toolkit environment, which essentially pulls the correct Docker image and starts it with the proper mount locations, the secret directory being mounted to the right location and the working directory falling to the directory where the scripts are uh, scripts are saved. So we are in the slash repo slash script slash deploy directory. This is where we have all the provisioning and collecting information regarding the cluster and all those scripts live. So right now I have done till uh, let's see, okay. So I have created a GCS bucket and directory as mentioned in the README. I have populated the GitLab cluster assay.sh. I think I can share that because I don't think there's any secret there. Yeah, so these are the buckets and the directory that I spun up. I'll be deleting all of these after the demo. So I have populated the RC file with secrets and everything, some random passwords, a prefix for the instances to be that are being spun up by Terraform, and the stock password. This was the default password uh, before quite some time in GitLab. So, and I have populated these values and I have ran the provision cluster script, which creates a cluster in GCP and creates all the necessary nodes. So the output that we see here is essentially from that provision script job. It gets the correct plugin, the GCS plugin, creates the nodes, set host names, get the public IPs, and get all of those, or display all of those in this nice format. So we have one application node, three console nodes, uh, three database nodes. So that's the default setup that uh, provision cluster script brings. So this is where I'm right now. Uh, According to the docs, the next one is assemble inventory, which gathers all the inventory information from the cluster. So let's try that. Uh, Quickly checking if Robert joined the call. Okay, Robert, feel free to intervene me in case I'm doing something in the wrong order.
Now, I just want to make sure you're trying to set up a geo cluster, right?
That's the plan. I assume it changes after the run orchestration, or is it before?
So it looks like you might not be using the documentation for the geo branch because what's your topology look like? Because you should have more machines than what you have loaded.
Okay, so this might be the master branch. Let me check. Mm, application 3 console to, yeah, okay. So this is Node.js. Uh, okay, so first question, what will happen if I run provision cluster again?
Well, once you modify your topology, it'll just create the extra nodes. At least that's what it should do.
Okay, so let me find out where that is. Actually, let me check the docs if those are available. Okay, so there should be a definition file in the secrets directory, which is not there because I haven't provided one. Do we populate a default one that I can modify?
There should be an example right there in line. The third example box that's on your screen right now. Oh, keep dragging down. Right there, your mouse is over it.
Okay, so my question is when and the provision script, does it create such a file but with the default value? Like, is it create one if it doesn't exist scenario?
No, it doesn't create any files. This is a file that you have to create.
Okay.
So this is your actually that's interesting. You don't have that JSON there. How did you make 3 clusters?
Uh, I just ran provision cluster, nothing else.
Oh, there's defaults. By default, it sets up the default. So yep.
Okay. So I can copy the default and modify it as I need, right? Which
Yep.
means I need to find the default file.
That was the default file. You have to paste it in. I'm adding that in iteration is to put some example files in. So I have them locally and I use them. I need to put them in the repo.
Okay, cool. So I'll put this content somewhere. Let me check where. In the GitLab cluster itself. One database, one application for app and for geo.
And if you
So,
want to pump that up to have 3 database, 3 console again, you can. Either configuration works.
okay. I'll give the example when I go and see how that works. Okay, it's all right. Let's see what provision cluster does. So this is me running provision cluster in an already provisioned scenario where it used the different or it used the default JSON values.
Yeah, so it's going to tear down the ones it doesn't need and bring up the ones it does. So
Okay, it should be harmless.
this is one of the opportunities where I'm, working with Nelia and Nick on testing to, create scenarios where do we accidentally destroy anything we don't mean to? this is one of the test cases that we don't really do today, not just for Orchestrator, but for other items. So this is one of the things we want to introduce is that whole idea of continuity testing, more than just can it install, but can you install, can you upgrade, can you downgrade, can you do continuity end to end. That's one of the things we want to get started with this project.
Okay, makes sense to me. Like, I mean, yeah, we are not doing that anywhere else, so this this does sound like a good opportunity to bring it first.
We sort of do it in the CNG, but only because we're constantly running upgrades. So we each individually test the installs and upgrades almost every time we demo. But the CI doesn't do the put it in, upgrade it, roll it back, and then re-upgrade. We don't have any process for that.
Cool.
That's one step, and that's really a very useful customer longevity, maintainability thing.
Cool. Okay, so the provision cluster completed. What do I have? I have two application nodes, one for Geo, one for main. No console, two database, one for Geo, one for main. So sounds about right. What I asked it to do. Okay, so that's provision cluster script. The next is assemble inventory, which should gather all the inventory information from the cluster. Okay, something broke. Cannot find vault password file. Check documentation vault password file. Okay.
I think there's an issue open for this, so I'm just going to save you because there may not be a complete clarification here.
Yeah, I bumped into
Okay.
this yesterday. There's a link that points to the docs for Ansible to talk about the vault password file. It's a file with a password in it. The language in the upstream docs now says a password store file, and then never actually tells you what the contents of said store file format are. It's just a password in a file.
Yeah.
So any random password, right?
Yeah, any random password. It's just what you're going to encrypt with, so that if you want to decrypt it yourself later to see what it said, you have it.
Okay. So vault password file should be enough. Okay, so it should have gathered all the inventory information. Uh, so feature suggestion, I would really love if there was something informative or actionable for me to do, like what just happened, how do I check whether it's completed successfully or something like that. Like go check this file if it has stuff in it.
Yep. And you know, the other thing I just thought about, because I don't think in your secrets, did you put your GitLab license file?
No, just the GCP service account file and this one, the vault password file. and
Okay.
the RC file.
Yeah, Geo requires licensing.
So I think this is a thing we need to open an issue that if configuration detects geo, that assemble should fail and tell you that you need a license file to proceed. Because if you don't,
Okay.
we're going to hit the lovely SSH guard problem because we've just pinged all those nodes, and if we try and fix it and then run it again, we're going to lock ourselves out of all of those nodes. So,
So
I
at this point, can I just copy the license file now and rerun this?
you can. I'm trying to remember what the length of time is for a timeout in SSH guard, because it's 6 tries. It's no more than 6 tries in a certain amount of time. So
Well, I have copied
In
it.
the meantime, though, you should be able to add the license file here. Either you can copy it here, or you can just tell it exactly where the file is as a part of your RC.
So what I just did is I copied the GitLab license file to secrets. That's the default file name. So actually, I'm not sure I understand why a missing license file will kick us out of SSH.
because assemble inventory does 2 things. It builds the file that feeds all of your configuration data into the orchestrator, and then it also
Okay.
sets up your known hosts file so that behind the scenes Ansible is connecting over SSH. So you don't want every job to ask you, do you want to connect? Do you trust this? So we auto-populate the known hosts.
Okay,
So,
but how does the license file comes into play?
because to get the license file to actually inject into your cluster when you run your next step, you need to rerun assemble inventory. But
Okay.
assemble inventory is also going to try and reconnect to all those machines. SSH guard is going to see that with the previous attempt and may lock you out. It depends on how long it takes. So we can try it. Your next step may fail. It's going to depend. If you get no feedback back, then it definitely
Yeah.
lock you out.
Okay, so I got the same output as the previous attempt. Nothing else. So
Then it looks like we had a long enough delay. This is one of the fun little problems with SSH guard. Jenny Louie ran into this the other day as well, and that's part of what made our nightlies break for the HA pipelines. So
okay, cool. So that's assemble inventory. If I run orchestration, it should spin up Geo, right? Does it? Let me quickly check the MR if I miss something.
and I just want to be sure you built that container this morning, correct?
Yeah,
Did you
like
in?
half hour ago.
Okay, cool. Because there's a change in this container that's not in the upstream, so I just wanted to make sure you have the build, or else rsync will fail horribly, because rsync was added in the most recent.
Okay.
Cool.
Which I haven't gotten a chance to open the issues from last night, so I apologize. But one thing I will note is you'll see a warning about trying to use tar in rsync because they're saying, "Oh, just use this archive or this send thing."
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
okay and no. You just need to add an extra parameter to something in the Ansible to tell it, "Yes, I know I'm doing this intentionally. Go away."
Yeah. So
Yeah, there's a couple.
remember, it's like the uh, acme.sh let's encrypt bot. Yes, I know what I am doing. Please enable manual mode. Okay, so I hope I should be able to run orchestration, and I should get a geo instance.
Yep.
Okay, which makes sense because there are no console ports. Yay, something failed.
And that would be the
Yeah, SSH
yeah.
guard knocking me out.
Yep. So the
Okay.
super fast way to fix it is to run deprovision, provision, assemble. Right? 1, 2, 3. Like wipe it out, provision it again, assemble, and go.
Okay.
I think that in a real world scenario, and this is only the Ubuntu images that have this, from what I can tell. I don't know that we really want to remove SSH guard. So this is something that probably merits a spike to figure out what do we actually want to do for Ubuntu.
So okay, I'll take a note of that and open an issue to discuss. So now it doesn't seem like I have any other option but to deprovision the cluster. I really wonder if Google Cloud is gonna now block me, like you are starting and stopping instances way too soon.
No. I literally went, tear it down. Oops, I need 3. Start it up. And it was like, all right.
Yes, and that's good.
During testing, I couldn't figure out why my job was taking so much longer than usual. A full orchestration run with the full size provision it can do is about 25 minutes. I couldn't figure it out, and then I realized when I copy pasted, I pasted my change command twice. So I put the entire cluster up, tore it down, and put it back twice in a row. And that's why I was going for 45 minutes instead of 25.
Okay. Something.
Okay. Have you checked out the geo branch?
That's a good question.
You'll have to do that outside the cluster or outside the container.
Oh, okay. I know. What is the branch name?
30-add, and you should be able to tap complete from there.
Okay.
I think you're going to have to rebuild the container as well on this branch.
Yes, that's the rsync thing.
Okay, so I can get out of the container, chop it. Oh, it's already stopped. Okay, that's great.
Yep.
Where is it?
One of the configuration options for this is that you can set to have an SSH key come in with it. So you can, like, the container will stop and start, and if you set all of your secrets, because the SSH keys and other things are generated on the fly, But the idea is that if you use your own SSH key, and then you configure your secrets in your secrets directory, the container is ephemeral. So it automatically cleans it up for you. That way you don't end up with 5 gigabytes of dangling containers like I did when I first started using containers like years ago. Like, why is my hard drive full? Oh.
Okay, I see Async being installed, so I should be on the right container. Okay. Provision cluster.
I do think that there are some enhancements to be had though here to make sure that, like, when warnings like that pop up, that should be caught and stopped. And more than just having to read the Terraform warnings, we should wrap that up. Because the goal is that you should not know Terraform or Ansible to do this. You should just know you run your 3 things and you're done.
Okay, so 2 application nodes, 101 main, 2 database, 101 main. I'm going to give it a minute for the provisioning to complete. Yes, checking. I have the license, I have the GCP credentials, I have the vault password file. So I should be good to go. Okay, so we are kind of like 2 minutes away from the dedicated time for this. If you have something else to do, feel free to leave. Steven, I think you might have to make me a co-host or something to continue the recording, but I'm not sure.
I'll stick around.
That works.
It's all good. I can
Okay.
hang.
Cool. Okay, let's run assemble inventory. Okay, so that happened around orchestration. Okay, it didn't fail where it failed the last time, so that's a good sign.
Yep. And so from here, just specifications, it's roughly 20 to 26 minutes.
Okay, so that run is done. So I assume the public IP of main should be where I can find GitLab.
Yep, it'll be the second, the non-highlighted one, the second one.
Okay, the other one is for Geo. It should still give me a working GitLab instance, right?
Actually, yes, it should.
Okay, What is the password? I think it is.
I think you used the old default. And you also see the new feature where dynamic passwords get automatically injected to your RC file that you use.
Yeah, I see those.
Yep. You have 2 healthy clusters or sites. Sorry.
Oh. Yeah. So and the error is regarding HTTP instead of HTTPS.
Yep. That's also coming in the next iteration to plug in SSL support. There is SSL support in the replication and talking like the crosstalk and the self-signed certificates. They make the databases connect, but there's not for the front yet.
Cool. Let me quickly check WhatsApp with 502. Okay. It no longer gives me 502. So. Huh. I am hitting the geo node and it is taking me to the main node, the application node. Well, let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's authorizing the crossover between the logins, I think, as an admin.
Okay, so it does. I am on the read-only geo node. Cool. So yeah, DMR works. Is the
You
result.
don't know it works unless it replicates a repo.
Well, that's true. Let's see. Hey, it did. Okay, I do see the repo in the geo node. So repo did get replicated. Let's create an issue too. Okay, database replication also works. Cool. I think that's a good place to stop this demo. Does anyone have any questions or something they want me to try out? Crickets 1, 2, 3. Cool. So thanks everybody for joining. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and let's wind up the code.